Little green aliens, lightsabers, and spaceships that look like engineering nightmares are what people typically expect to see from games that take to the stars these days. But the Invincible by Starward Industries takes a different approach. The Invincible takes players back to a time when spacefaring sci-fi was less about the aliens and more about what humanity would do when it reached the stars, and what that would mean for us. Inspired by the novel of the same name by Stanislaw Lem, Starward's debut narrative thriller brings old-school hard science fiction to life with beautiful visuals, but it also has a few technical issues and a bit of bloat. What will more than likely be the biggest point of consideration when diving into the Invincible is its slower, narrative-heavy game design, with not much to do as far as gameplay mechanics are concerned. It is admirable and refreshing that the Invincible sheds a lot of the current video game scene's focus on violence and tries something new. But on the other side, there isn't so much as even a puzzle throughout the game's roughly 7-hour runtime. The majority of the Invincible relies on players clicking on things, talking over comms, making decisions, and more or less taking one long hike across the surface of Regis 3 on the surface. This may look like a big-budget production with all the bells and whistles, but it has the heart and soul of a laid-back interactive fiction indie game, which players should take into account. Luckily, the Invincible makes up for the lack of rigorous gameplay mechanics by focusing on its narrative and making sure it delivers characters that feel alive and are likable. As established, Starward's The Invincible is a loose adaptation of Stanislaw Lem's novel of the same name. And while Lem's original novel tackles themes of humanity's relationship with technology and our place in the universe in a more direct, hard sci-fi manner, Starward's adaptation takes a more cerebral approach to the mystery at the core of the story. It's a thriller through and through and can be a little unnerving at times, but it's nothing that general audiences can't handle. The central premise revolves around an amnesiac biologist named Yasna who comes to the distant planet of Regis 3 after a mission went off course and she was split up from her crew. She soon realizes that only the staff's astrogator, Novik, is the only one responsive on comms, and she must now piece together what happened to her team and see if she can find a way off Regis 3 safely. Without any spoilers, Yasna quickly discovers that Regis 3 is home to something that neither she nor Novik could have expected, but in a very 60s hard sci-fi way. Those who like to get nerdy about biological what-ifs will really love what is in store here, and it makes for a neat twist on what we expect from these sci-fi thrillers. Starward's writing of the main characters, in particular, is worthy of a lot of praise. Inhabiting Yasna is a delight, as she is one of the most charming protagonists this year, with her dialogue bringing a sense of wonder and exploration to the narrative that really sold her as a happy-go-lucky biologist, who maybe should have rethought going on this mission. However, players can also turn her into a more cynical and selfish character depending on their dialogue choices. Meanwhile, Novik acts as a good counterweight to Yasna, as he frequently questions her motivations and observations while trying to decipher what is going on in Regis 3 alongside her. There is a lot of decision-making that goes into how players want these two to interact and grow as the narrative develops, but regardless of what players choose, these sequences always felt natural and real thanks to some smart writing. But even with a few technical hiccups, checkpoint woes, and a sense that maybe going this big with such an intimate game wasn't the best choice, The Invincible is an enjoyable experience. The Invincible is a 60s sci-fi novel brought to life that is best suited for those who love to get nerdy about hard science and love that retro sci-fi aesthetic. More casual fans will likely find plenty to enjoy with the game, but they should know that this is a game about getting immersed in a world that wants to tell a story instead of the usual spacefaring adventure shtick. When The Invincible gets its hooks in players, it can be a narrative experience that is thrilling, thought-provoking, and worth the ride. So what do you think about this game? Are you excited to play? Let me know about your thoughts in comment section.